Hello Star Wars fans and welcome to Victoria's Cantina, where today we're having a look at the Hasbro Star Wars The Vintage Collection number 151 Luke Skywalker Yavin 3 3/4 inch scale action figure. Really excited to get this one. I've gotten Luke Skywalker in his Yavin outfit multiple times over the years, going all the way back to 1997 or 98, back during the Power of the Force era. They've released him a few times since then. Here we are in 2019 with the very first time receiving this figure on a vintage collection card back, which is so awesome. I'm really drawn to these classic era characters, especially the ones from A New Hope. I'm just really attracted to that idea of, getting figures on vintage card backs that were never released during the vintage days. So way cool. I got mine from Dorkside Toys. They'd had him in stock on Triple Force Friday, so finally received him. Let's talk about the packaging. Like I said, it's a gorgeous card back, and if you look at the image they used of Luke, it's actually kind of blurry. It seems like, whatever image they used, obviously wasn't in the best quality. So that transferred over to the card. And it still looks great. It's a great image there of Luke in his outfit and with his medal on. So it looks really good. They used a good image. It's just a little bit blurry. The figure itself looks nice. You can see the accessories in there. Now there is a variant floating around out there that has the updated font, or I should say not necessarily updated, but it's more that they use the original vintage packaging font. So I guess that was the outdated font, and now this is the updated font. Now they're going back to the outdated. I'm overcomplicating it. The carry forward releases will have the updated font on them. Here at the back, it basically just tells us is number 151, and we get a glimpse of the other figures available currently in the vintage collection. And all right, I'm going to take a moment, get Luke unboxed. When we come back, we'll take a closer look. All right, you guys, so here is young Luke out of the packaging, and this is a fantastic looking figure. It's not a perfect figure, but it is fantastic. And I'll get into the details of that as we go along, but just looking at the figure, he's very proportionate, he's got a fantastic likeness, and the costume is looking really good. It definitely feels like they got the proportions right. There is a reason for that differs over the previous release, and we'll compare in just a little bit, but just my first impressions are really good. I'm really pleased with the finished product that I am seeing here. Luke also comes with a few accessories, and we will talk about those as well. But first, let's talk about that head. Now, I realize that all of this lighting is kind of washing out the face a little bit. He looks very pasty from what I can see here on the monitor, but if I start turning these lights off, you can see a little bit more of the sculpt, a little bit better. I'll just turn off this front light. Maybe we can get rid of that. Maybe that helps just a little bit. But yeah, he doesn't look this washed out in person. He looks a lot better in person. He doesn't look this ghostly pale. But this is a really nice visage of Luke Skywalker from A New Hope. Especially the hair. I mean, let's just talk about how detailed that hair is. It's really richly sculpted, and the paint detail on it is just exquisite. I mean, it's a sandy blonde beige, that color that he kind of had in A New Hope. It's a little bit different from Empire or Jedi, so it looks nice. There's some highlighting on there with a lighter blonde color, so it kind of brings out some of that detail. I think that looks really good overall. It's very textured, as you can see. And the face looks really good too. Now, he does have the photoreal paint application, so it is quite clean. I did get two of these figures. The other figure doesn't look as good as this one does. The other one had a nicer card back, so it's staying on the card. But this one had the better face paint, so that's the one I decided to open and review. The rest of the outfit is really good. It does share parts with the previously released Black Series 3 3/4 inch Luke Skywalker in his celebration outfit. So it looks really good. I think that the coloring on the jacket looks very nice. I've kind of always felt like maybe the jacket was a little bit more saturated in the film. I don't know if that was just the way it looks or if the actual prop was this light. This is kind of like a banana yellow. But it's definitely a softer yellow than what I associate when I watch the film. I feel like his jacket's a little bit darker. But it looks nice. You can see some brown striping in here. You can see some, like a little rank badge or something right there. And it does have the medal on here, as you can see. So that looks pretty nice. Not a whole lot going on to it. I mean, it looks a little bit rough in the sculpt, but it gets the job done. To take it off, you'll just need to pull it off over his head. But yeah, it still looks really good. You can see under his jacket, which is not removable, but you can kind of see the black shirt underneath there. And it's nicely sculpted. It looks a little bit like Han Solo's shirt that he has in Empire. And the belt right there, it's connected to this holster on the side of his hip. And that is a separately sculpted piece that is attached, non-removable. You can see his legs there with his brown pants and the yellow stripes. Very Corellian looking, very much like Han Solo's pants in Return of the Jedi and Empire. And then the black boots right there. Nicely sculpted, very glossy. And there are the peg holes on bottom. Let's talk articulation. Here at the neck, he does have a ball-jointed head, so it moves pretty nicely. You can tilt it. You can go down a little bit, up just a little bit, not too much, side to side. Insert molded joints here at both of the shoulders, so those go out. You can rotate them. Same thing at both of the elbows, so they do bend a good bit, a little more than 90, and you can rotate them. You can rotate both of the wrists. Here at the waist, you can rotate. Here at the hips, you can swivel forward. They do not go out, but they do get a very nice 90-degree angle. And here at the knees, insert molded joints, not quite 90, but enough. Rotate, and nothing at the ankles. So he's a little bit outdated in terms of his articulation compared with newer figures. And again, they did reuse the previously released figures. That's part of the reason, but they did make some changes. So we already talked about this medal that Luke comes with. Again, it's pretty simplistic. There's not a whole lot to say about it. Pretty straightforward. But he also comes with a blaster pistol. This is the Princess Leia style blaster. It's a little bit shorter. It's more like the blaster she actually used in Return of the Jedi and Endor. But, it's pretty simple. It's exactly what it needs to be. As we did note, he has a holster on his hip. It's basically just going to slide in there, just like that. Goes in very nicely. And you don't have to fight with it or anything. It doesn't fall out, so that is good. You also get the Skywalker lightsaber hilt. It is worth noting that this is the Empire Strikes Back hilt rather than the A New Hope hilt. How do we know that? Well, because it has rivets at the back, which is not accurate to A New Hope. He does have a hole for the lightsaber right there in his belt. So you just tap that in, and it looks pretty nice. All right, so here's a comparison of our vintage collection Luke Skywalker along with our Black Series 3 3/4-inch Luke Skywalker. And yeah, you can just see the difference that a few years makes. The new one has a brand new head sculpt. It's an awesome looking head sculpt, and it's got the photoreal paint application, which looking at that older one, you can definitely tell that neither of those two things are there. Additionally, one of the complaints with this older figure was that the arms were a little bit too long. So as Hasbro recently confirmed at New York Comic Con, is they took the Ponda Baba figure from the vintage collection and used his lower arms on this Luke Skywalker figure. So the top parts of the arms are the same. It's the forearms that are different between the two figures. So just kind of comparing those lower arms, you can see that the sculpting on him is exactly the same. I didn't realize that they were wearing the same jacket. I mean, I had known that they were similar, but I didn't realize that, like in the films, they actually used the same jacket and just colored them differently. So that is a very interesting piece of trivia. Other than that, and other than the heads, they're the same exact figure. It's also worth noting that the Black Series version did come with the ignited lightsaber. That isn't something that we get with the Vintage Collection one. But it's not really needed. He didn't ignite it in the film while he was wearing this outfit, though I think some of the promotional images may have shown him using the lightsaber. I mean, yeah, it's just no contest. I did used to say, I think in the review I did for this one several years back, that it looked kind of like Marty McFlywalker. And yeah, it kind of still does a little bit, but yeah, I mean, this is just immensely superior. There's no doubt about it. If you have that other figure, you need to update, baby. This is the one that you really need in your collection. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so there you have it. This is the Hasbro Star Wars The Vintage Collection, Luke Skywalker, as seen on Yavin in Star Wars Episode 4, A New Hope. Overall, you guys, I love this figure. Is it completely up to modern standards? No, not really, because he doesn't have ankle articulation. He doesn't have ball-jointed hips or wrists, but you know what? I don't really care. As long as the figure can do what the character did in the film while wearing the respective costume, then I am perfectly okay with that. And given the articulation this figure has, he can do exactly what Luke did in the film, which was basically just walk, get a trophy, turn around, and smile. Speaking of which, it would have been cool if they would have given this figure a smiling face. Maybe they'll do a variant on it where we have smiling face Yavin Luke. I would love that. The head sculpt is phenomenally done. Like I said, it looks a little washed out on camera. It's not so bad in real life. It actually looks a lot better in real life. If you get it, you'll see for yourself. The hair is also really nicely done. It's a separately sculpted piece glued onto the head. The accessories are nice. The costume is nice. I'm totally happy with this. Hasbro's been really knocking it out of the park with their Luke Skywalker figures as of late, and this is no exception. Alright my friends, I hope that you've enjoyed this video. Let me know your thoughts down below. I do read every comment. I'm curious to see what you have to say. As always, I'd like to thank you for tuning in to Victoria's Cantina. Until next time, bye bye.